Hey guys, Rashid15 Bad Yugi's here, and I'm coming at you with something different today. Now, I'm sure this is probably this will be linked later on from a different video that goes more in depth to it. But for now, I'm just gonna do the quick list, upload it right here because there's someone who wanted to see it, and this is a bit of an ongoing project of mine. I've built a draft cube using my cards, and without further ado, we know why you're here, so let's get into it. We have Banisher of the Radiance. Battle Fader. As you notice, everything is a 2 of. Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. And there is no ban list with these. But we're just going to go right through this list here. Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind. Not take too long. Blaster. Dragon Ruler of Infernos. Caius the Shadow Monarch. Card Trooper. Now, this amount of cards is suited for 4 to 6 players. You can do 2 players, but you'll have a lot of cards to pick from, so you don't have to use all of the cards at once. Cyber Dragon, Cyber Jar, DD Crow, and there is no ban list in this cube. If you get 2 cards, you're able to use them. That's a part of the process of drafting. But I'm thinking of instilling that. That's Dandelion, obviously. Dark Arm Dragon. I'm thinking of instilling that a ban list into this list for certain cards like Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed. There's Debris Dragon, Denko Sekka, and then there's also other exceptions like Destiny Hero Malicious here, where if you draft one of them, you'll reveal it at the end and you'll get 2 other copies. So if you get one of them, they equal a play set. There's only one other card that does that. Doom Caliber Knight. Dragoon Corseska, Eclipse Wyvern, Effect Veiler. Now, these the cards that I've picked in this cube are based off of 3 main engines. The first one being Plants, this is Felice. The second one being Dragon Rulers, Fiber Jar. The third one being Chaos. Everything else is just general support or power cards, like Firehand there. See, like Flame Vulgar, that's from a Dragon Ruler thing. Fossil Dino, that's just kind of a hate card. There's enough hate cards in here you can actually build an entire stun deck. It usually does pretty well, honestly. Glow Bulb. But what I've tried to do is I've tried to make all the cards flexible. Goblin Zombie. Strong enough so that they work with themselves. Goblin Berg. So that there doesn't have to be none of the all types or all things. Gores. Because that would restrict a lot of the cards that we could use in here, and I don't like that. Thousand Blades. I like the ability of like using the Yu-Gi-Oh's flexibility with their cards to the maximum potential. We have Honest, and we have Ice Hand, of course, to go with the Fire Hand. We do have Judgment Dragon in here, the ultimate brick. Luckily, Eclipse Wyvern can search it. Curry Bandit. Most of the engines in here are very graveyard reliant. They usually take some sort of setting up. I'd say Shadalls are the fastest engine. But Shadalls are probably the strongest thing in here. Light Pulsar Dragon, Lone Fire Blossom, and this is an ongoing list. Like as playing goes on, I try to introduce new cards. I take out ones that I think are too weak or too strong for their own good. Lumina, Lila. Like right now, everyone is really tired of the performages, but I think that'll go away as people get more used to just drafting them earlier on because they are powerful cards. They need to respect them. I think that as people understand, the players that play with me, Mathematician, understand like how the powerful cards need to be picked, like what you have to respect. Mizuki and Maxi, of course. Once people respect what cards you should pick before others, like Maxi is not a first pick. Maxi is not a first pick in this draft. Like I would pick any performance monster. I'd pick Trick Clown or Damage Juggler over Maxi. Morphing Jar. And Morphing Jar number 2, like I said, good hate. Necro Gardena. Grand Mole. Night Assailant. Great for Shadalls, actually. There's the Trick Clown. Hat Tricker. And, well, Damage Juggler, Hat Tricker, Trick Clown. We have Paro Cerberus. We have Plague Spreader Zombie. We have Raiden. Then here's the other one that counts as a 3 of Reborn Tengu. So if you draft one of them, you'll get the other 2 afterwards. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. We have Redox. We have Rescue Cat. And all of the cards in here are actually pre-errata. So Rescue Cat here, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer will banishes any card, not just monsters. Ring of Destruction, as you'll see later, is the original text. Same with Crush Card Virus. So the traps are definitely need to be respected. Raikou, Sangan, Shaddoll Beast, Shaddoll Dragon, Shaddoll Falco, Shaddoll Hedgehog, Shaddoll Squamata. All 5. No Shaddoll Hound. Frankly, this is enough. And the level 4s are honestly just great on their own. So I feel that even though people feel like the Shaddolls right now are more powerful than they should be in this cube, that as time goes on, people will respect them, and they're not too broken that they can't be played. But that's just my opinion. I guess we'll see as play goes on, as the players evolve and they learn how to draft more, how to get used to it, understand what they have to go for. Snowman Eater. Because for the most part, this cube goes from most of the range is like early 5Ds to late Zexal play, so like 2008 to 2014. I mean, yeah, there's of course power cards that are from before then and from after then, but that's kind of what I'm trying to get a feel for, is that era of play. But it's just really powerful because of the cards that are in here. That was obviously Spirit Reaper and Spore, Snowman Eater, and Summoner Monk. This was Scarecrow. We have Tempest. We have Thunder King. We have Tidal, the worst of the 4 Dragon Rollers in here. Tour Guide. Tragodia. Tribe. White Dragon. Wish of the Black Forest. Wolf. X-Saber Airbellum. And Zombie Master. But, what was I saying here? Yeah, for the most part, this is based off of, like, 2014 Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, what was known, what was respected then, and kind of the cards that are playing around here. I'm just trying to, it's not that it's around that. It's just my favorite kind of cards I like playing in Yu-Gi-Oh! How I like to play my Yu-Gi-Oh! I try to focus less on, negate boards and more of, like, breaking oppressive boards. There are definitely some very powerful negation cards in here. Allure of Darkness, Book of Moon, Brain Control, Card Destruction, Change of Heart, Charge of the Light Brigade, Cold Wave, Dark Hole, Dimensional Fissure, Dragon Ravine, El Shaddai Fusion, Enemy Controller, Foolish Burial, Forbidden Chalice, Forbidden Lance, Future Fusion, Giant Trunade, Gold Sarcophagus, Graceful Charity. I'd say standalone, this is the most powerful card of the format, because since there's so many graveyard reliant decks, you're almost always getting a resource that's live in the grave somehow off of this card. So it's really insane. And like I said, the lists are ongoing, so don't be surprised if you see in the future, if I record an entire draft, if you don't see a card like Graceful Charity or maybe perhaps Damage Juggler from, you'll notice that no one has it. That's because it'd be taken out, it'd be replaced by something else. Cards like Trap, Stun, or the Mythic Dragons are cards I'm considering putting in here to, like, buff or weaken certain other aspects of the cube. I'm just always trying to rebalance this stuff. Harpy's Feather Duster, Heavy Storm, Instant Fusion. It's a long ongoing project. Kaiser Coliseum, Metamorphosis, Mirage of Nightmare, Monster Reborn, Mystical Space Typhoon, Nobleman of Crossouts, 1-for-1, Pot of Avarice, Pot of Duality, Pot of Greed. Great cards. Premature Burial, Brigeki, Scapegoat, Shit-All Fusion, Snatch Steal, Solar Recharge, Soul Charge, Super Poly, and the Shallow Grave. I put this in exclusively to support the jars, but I found that Shit-Alls like using this card as well, but I think that's fine. I think that's just fine. Now onto the traps. Bottomless Trap Hole, Breakthrough Skill, Crush Card Virus, Original Imperial Order. Brain Control was original too. We gotta remember that. These are all pre-errata effects here. Lose 1 turn. This is the newest card I've put in here. I've really liked it for slowing down the aggro decks. Definitely. Macrocosmos. There's a lot of like OTK potential in this, and I try to mitigate that with cards like Swift Scarecrow, Battle Fader. Cards like Mirror Force are a bit weaker because they can be dealt with. Like Gores and Tragodia are all there. Phoenix Wing. I'm sorry that some of these rarities aren't matching or as nice as they could be. I have better rarity cards, but I try to build these out of like as little decks as possible. So like I have the Phoenix Wings in here because I took them out of Burning Abyss. Just like I took the Dantes out of it for the extra deck. So when I got the Dantes, I grabbed those as well, instead of like secret rares from another deck. Ring of Destruction, Royal Oppression, ooh baby, very good card. Shit-All Core, better than you think it is because of the defensive wall. It can definitely come up. It's really big defense. Skill Drain, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, Starlight Road, Threatening Roar, Torrential Tribute, Vanity's Emptiness, and Wobaku. Yeah, there's a lot of powerful cards in here, but that's kind of what makes the draft insane. When you're playing it with 4 players, they're dished out in packs of 8, so when you pick one, there's usually 1 or 2 really good cards for whatever strategy you're going for. But when you play, and so it's usually it's pretty easy to pick what you want. But when you're playing with 6 players, there's just enough cards in here in the main deck, and for the main decks, that all 6 players will get 48 cards. So when you are given that pack of 12, you have to look and pick 1 card from the pack of 12. It's really difficult to pick what you want. So you'll see 2nd and 3rd picks that are just insane when, it's passed over once or twice and there's still crazy cards in there. And it's really fun to do with 6 players. I need to get some more of that in, but it's hard to organize these events, get them rolling. Chimera Attack, Fortress Dragon, we're now in the fusions, obviously. And as you saw with Metamorphosis and Instant Fusion, and you saw Cyber Dragons in there, so that can out cards like Draco's Sack or Cyber Dragon Infinity. Cyber Twin Dragon. I try to make sure that there's actually like an out to every insane play. So like the more powerful something is, the better there is an out to it. Like there are Noblemen of Crossouts. So if you're playing like a control deck, you can actually play Noblemen of Crossout to your advantage because you can use the Shallow Grave. So you can actually have that interaction of being able to banish a monster they think they're getting face down when they don't really get it at all. Dark Bolter the Terrible, great for instant fusion and metamorph. Shit-All Construct, Shekanaga, and Winda. I used to have Annoy Attilis in here, but I recently took it out, simply on the fact that I never saw anybody summon it once, and it was usually a last pick. No one was ever picking the card. I try to take out cards that people just aren't feeling as well. It just makes the cube even more fun. Norden is a very powerful cube, and it's kind of insane because of that 5-headed dragon. I don't have Flame Ghosts, and if I did, these would be those. I sold those with 2007. I'd have Flame Ghost over Fusionist, even though this has the Diamond Direwolf interaction, because Flame Ghost is a crush card target, and that's really nice. Being able to have a crush card target on the fly can be really good for certain decks. Other than that, doesn't matter. That helps make Nat Beast, although it doesn't happen often. It's like a Dandelion token, that, and Glow Up Bulb. Something rare like that. Carbonala Warrior, also good for Nat Beast. And Thousand-Eyes Strict. Now moving on to the Synchros. We have Ally of Justice Cataster. We have Ancient Fairy Dragon. Probably the weakest card in all of the extra deck cards, the one I like the least, but that 3000 wall does matter, and being able to special summon one from your hand can help those monster heavy decks, because usually decks that are playing the synchro engines like this might have a lot of extra monsters. Just usually how I've seen from builds. That's why I'm okay with keeping this. Arcanite Magician. That's actually a lot easier to make than you think it would be. It's not just Winda. Mathematician on its own can make that if you send Felice. Armades. Armory Arm. Armades is probably the most underrated card in this entire cube. It's insane how much advantage it gets. Bells. Black Rose Dragon. Brionac. Colossal Fighter. Crimson Blader. Dark Strike Fighter. This is also pre-errata. That's another extremely powerful card, but I've only seen it game somebody twice, and both of them were when I used it. Formula Synchron. Goyo Guardian. Leo. We'll see how this draft evolves, how the cube evolves. If people start picking Dark Strike Fighter too much and just start tuning their decks for Dark Strike Fighter FTKs from the start, then I'll have to take it out, but hopefully I don't get to that point. Because usually in the Dragon decks that can abuse that, it's not easy to go for level 7 synchros. I don't have Trigon in here for Debris Dragon, so they need to have Debris and Card Trooper, or some other level 3 that works with it. Anyways, we have Michael here. There's the Nappies I was talking about earlier. Red Dragon Archfiend, a recent inclusion I found to really work out for punishing the stun decks, because sometimes they do generate a lot of advantage. Also good against Shaddolls, just because it spurs off what they don't expect to have. Instead of like being able to bounce and pop cards, they're getting different effects that might be less useful for them. Shaddol Dragon. Star Eater. Stardust. Stardust Spark. TG Hyper Librarian. Thought Ruler, and Trish. Those are all the synchros. And now for the Xyz. Abyss Dweller. The most powerful Xyz right here is Castel. This card I'm heavily debating on taking out along with the Performages, because this card is what makes the Performages so good, being able to go into a free Castel off of Lovable Chain. Just the immediate board presence. It's really, really powerful. It's very strong. And because I already play 101, I don't know. We'll see how Castel lies in the future. Pleiades, M7, Cyber Dragon Infinity, Cyber Dragon Nova. If you can get Ptolemaeus, Nova, and Infinity, I think you're allowed to be able to play that, because it's really hard to draft all three of them, because it's so easy for people just to pick the card so that no one can make it. And they're wasting extra deck picks at that point. Dagustu Emerald. My boy Dante. Diamond Dire Wolf. Exiton. Gaia Dragon. Lava Volchain. Levier. Draco Sack. Silent Honor Arc. Giant Hand. Big Eye. Acid Golem. Master of Blades. Very underappreciated. Crazy Box. Trapeze Magician. Photon Strike Bouncer. Delteros. Also good for those who try to make the 3 level 4s and stuff. In case they can't get the Ptolemaeus, they can put Delteros underneath it for Infinity. And Wind Up Zenmains. Very nice. It's pretty hard to make level 3s in here. I'd like to play like Ghost Trick Alucard, but I never see them played at all. I've made Ghost Trick Alucard once, so I ended up taking it out so I could fit in, some of the newer cards. There's just some extra tokens, and then the extra Tengus and the Malicious. Nothing big there. But that's the cube list. That's everything I have here. This is usually what I'm working with. And like I said, it's built for 4 or 6 players. You can use 2, but you have a lot of extra cards when you do, so work with it. When you're playing with 6 players, enough cards in here for 48 to the main deck. When it's with 4 players, you get a lot more. I forget what it is. There are 144 different card names in the main deck. There are 120 in No, there are 60 in the extra deck. So that ends up being 120 cards here, and that ends up being 288 total cards here. Those are the numbers that work out right. I definitely recommend using these numbers because they allow for passing out in packs. They work both ways. That's really it. That's all I gotta say. That was the list. If you want to see more Draft Cube content, I do plan on uploading on how to build this draft and how to sort it out and get it started, and so you can see how I play with all my friends. And I actually plan on recording a draft using 4 cameras, one on like each player, so you can see our entire drafting experience. So I hope you guys, if you look forward to that, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss it. Make sure to hit the bell as well so you're notified. If you use the notifications, I'll tell you right now, it's a great system. I can't recommend it anymore. Like and if you want to comment me some crazy card ideas that you think might be good for this cube, feel free to comment what you think should be in here, what you think shouldn't be in here, because I've done a lot of research and testing on here. Delinquent Duo, Forceful Sentry, Confiscation, Trap Dust Shoot. I've taken all of those out on the same premises that they allow you to look at your opponent's hand. So I won't play Drag Down to the Grave either. I've considered playing Chaos Emperor Dragon, just because the Chaos decks that play it, with all of the large monsters they can already play already, usually when they draft, they have a lot of them. And people right now are still making really clunky decks, and I find that the Chaos players are usually bricking on their own hands because they have too many monsters they can't actually play. But I don't want to put in Chaos Emperor Dragon because I know that over time, the players will evolve and they'll become better, and they'll become better at deck building, and they'll focus on only playing the best ones when they have them. So they won't, say, play Light Pulse or Dragon anymore, or Maven Red Eyes Darkest Metal Dragon, where they can just play Blackluster Soldier, and they can just float off of that, or Chaos Sorcerer, and then they can metamorph into like Ryu Senshi if I ever put that back in here. Crazy stuff like that. They'll focus more on those sorts of plays. So I don't put Chaos Emperor Dragon in here because then they would just immediately always go for the Dragon version, where they would always be going for Chaos Emperor Dragon, trying to go for like Yada Lock. Oh, that's actually a card I took out of here. I took out Yada Grasu. It was just a really frustrating card. Whenever it got off, it was really stupid. I'm considering putting it back in the future, but not until I have a better feel for this, because like I said, this is an ongoing process. This is like a cube I plan on playing, for years from now, just like always going back to this and working on it more, trying to optimize it, make it better. I'll probably post an updated list a while from now, who knows when, but I definitely do plan on uploading something more action-oriented with this draft cube in the future soon. So make sure to subscribe for that again. This is Fushido of Team Bad Yugi's. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh Club. I'm signing out.